But here we are back. Pete, Dickey.
Ladies and gentlemen, professional actor, and I'm helping him out.
Living in LA.
I'm living in their home.
Because before we recorded this, you were living in our home, right?
Yeah. Right there. I think you were staying here.
You know what actually happened
No,
was...
you were visiting us.
I was visiting
you were
for
visiting.
a night.
Right.
And then I worked in San Diego.
Right.
I was an assistant director on a play in San Diego, which was at the Old Globe, and it was really exciting.
Right.
And then I moved to LA a month or two after that.
Yeah.
And then we never spoke, or
we never spoke or saw each other since.
Yeah, I've been like really upset.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for you for the invite.
For the invite to the pod.
They only talk to their friends on the podcast.
So we only have one friend.
Yes.
Because you're the only one we've brought on.
Oh, really?
And Leela.
And Leela. Oh.
We have actually pretty strict.
Yeah, we don't do it very often.
No.
Infrequent. Well, also because we kind of just like do this whenever, but
yeah.
So.
Well,
it's less calculated, but we're happy to have you.
Yeah.
We're just hanging along.
Yeah.
Wait, how long have you been in LA?
I was doing the math. I think it's been 5 months.
Nice.
Already?
Crazy. Yeah, I know.
How are you liking it thus far?
You know, I like LA. I've been mostly unemployed in LA, and
Are
the
you
time just
employed
flies
now?
when you're. Yes.
Yes.
I've been doing math tutoring.
Okay, we're all
hell
at
yeah.
that stage. We're all employed.
Yes. This is my.
Yes.
Wait, did I just dox
We
you?
can bleep.
Dox.
We have a bleep
It's
button for
fucking
guests.
time, dude.
It's okay.
Okay, good. But no, yeah, I've been here for 5 months. I really like LA. It's nice being in a big city. There's a lot to do. It's not nice to be in a big city with a lot to do with no money.
That's true.
I'm frequently excited by things, and then I hold off because it's expensive,
Right.
or I already did something cool this week. So that's kind of frustrating. But yeah, I mean, if you're a creative person, it makes a lot of sense to live in one of these cities, one of these kind of bigger cities, I think.
You were kind of like nervous, I remember, to move to LA.
Yes,
you were
I was
feeling
super
like,
nervous.
should I stay in Colorado?
Yeah, there was a part of me. I'm from Colorado originally, and there's a part of me that wanted to just go work at like a ski resort,
Right,
and
You
just,
threw around the possibility of climbing Half Dome.
yes, run away to Yosemite, and
I think I've done that. No.
you've climbed.
You've
Half
climbed
Dome?
Half
Definitely
Dome?
not. I read a story about climbing Half Dome, and I thought that I had, but I didn't.
Oh.
Alex Honnold climbed Half Dome. He was the free solo guy. Famously did it with no ropes.
Oh, did you introduce Aaron to free solo?
No.
Free
Did he
solo
introduce
be
you?
the thing. I mean, it's been.
Oh, it's just like a common thing that everyone knows free solo now.
It was
Yeah.
like a big story, yeah.
Oh,
You haven't
Aaron's-
did you see it?
I saw part of it, but
With me, I was
pretty
like really
incredible.
trying to
it
get
is
Sophia to see
incredible.
it.
But I don't know why the guy like really stressed me out.
Yeah.
Well, Sophia was getting stressed out because she was like, "Oh."
I was already like having an existential crisis that day. I
right.
think.
And she was
Yeah.
like, "He's doing so much."
I compare myself to everyone.
She was
You
comparing
compared
herself
yourself
to
Alex Honnold.
She was like, "What the hell?" Like,
Yeah, and then he was like, I can't. He was.
I was like, "I've never heard this."
He
take
said
of the
no, and then
movie."
in the beginning, he was like, you know, I just need my girlfriend to know that like he was just starting to date this girl.
Oh,
You
him.
you saw this, but he was like,
Yeah.
I will always choose climbing over a girl every
Yeah.
time, and like that's my passion. That's what I'm dedicating my life to. And I like turned to Aaron and I was like, I can't do this. Like I need to choose acting over a guy every time. And
Oh
he was
yeah,
like-
you almost ended our
and
relationship.
then Aaron was like, but he ends up with her, Sophia.
Like the
Yeah.
movie is honestly
like,
a
a
lot to
kid.
do with their relationship and the way he's processes intimacy, and you know, it's
That's
actually like a movie.
one of the main stakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why, like, and if you keep watching the movie, it's like, oh yeah, like you can have thrill in your, like, you know, in your passions, but he also learns the value of that relationship is like super meaningful to him, and like now he has a daughter with her. So anyway, whatever.
And I think he climbs slightly less crazy things.
Yeah, he doesn't.
I don't think he's done anything as crazy.
Not at all.
as
So he chose a girl
El
over
Cap.
climbing in the end.
I mean, he also did it too, though. I mean, he's able to.
And he still climbs without ropes.
Yeah.
But like a little more chill, I think.
He's chilled a little more. Also, it's like I don't know how
He's
much.
kind of old now.
Yeah.
He's like 40.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
how old is his daughter?
She's young. She's a few
3.
years old. Yeah.
Probably.
No idea.
Cute.
Um,
Pretty
yeah.
silly
But yeah,
boy.
cray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did we get on free solo?
Oh, you were
I
talking about
literally have no
half-dome.
idea. Oh yeah, we
Half-dome.
have.
How you're
I
from
was
Colorado.
nervous. I was nervous to move. I don't know. I think what might be frustrating for people who listen to a podcast like this with 20-somethings is that 20-somethings are kind of going through the first time on a lot of experiences. Like
Yeah.
first time maybe like living in a new city, first time living maybe with a partner or something really seriously, whereas someone in their 30s might have some more wisdom to offer here. I don't really have any wisdom to offer, but
We never have any wisdom.
No, like literally never.
But yeah, what I can say is that I was super nervous, and I think doing things that scare you are good. And it's hard. It's like hard to find like an apartment in a big, like the life moves faster in a big city.
Right.
Like LA's kind of lazy sometimes, but honestly, everything does move pretty fast. You do have to get that apartment. You do have
Yeah.
to send that email seemingly right away.
Right.
You know, so that's been kind of an adjustment as well.
Yeah.
I'm still holding out for my ski resort.
So there's still a party that is kind of like, should I?
I have a reclusive part that kind of wouldn't mind being a recluse somewhere.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. I think that's like fairly common though.
Yeah.
It's like, what if I just went to the mountains?
Yeah.
I feel like I have conversations with most people our age, and
Yeah.
specifically actors who say that.
Yeah. For some reason, I think the Unabomber might have come up last podcast we had together. But the Unabomber.
Did we Ted
Did we talk
Kaczynski
about
last
Ted
time?
You
Kaczynski?
miss Shalom.
Okay.
Yes, just like us.
Yeah.
So he wanted to be like, live off the grid kind of thing.
Hell yeah.
Would you ever be tempted to live off the grid?
I would never live off the grid. Like the
You would never
closest
live off
I
the
would
grid.
live off the grid is like
I would just send.
I would just go.
bombs
I
in
would
the
maybe go to
mail.
a place that is
Yeah.
a little bit more suburban. I don't know.
Yeah, I would live in a city and still send the bombs.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
wait,
Midtown, but-
wait. What did the Unabomber say?
Huh?
huh?
You were talking about the Unabomber,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but what did he say?
Well, yeah.
He went off the grid.
Uh-huh.
And he sent bombs to people.
Or were you asking me if I would go off the grid if I sent bombs, or just normal Sophia going off the grid?
Actually, the question was just if you would go off the grid.
Oh.
And then we added that we would maybe go off the grid, but it's a little better to be in a city to send bombs because you're closer.
You're
There
closer
are a lot
to
of
different
mailboxes.
mailboxes, and you have just more access to
We
postage.
do not believe in bombs. Okay. I
Postage
just
is
wanna
actually
make that
really
clear on this
difficult in
podcast.
other cities.
I was just telling
You have,
my
like, one
roommate.
option.
Oh,
No, continue.
I was just telling my roommate last night about a story in first grade. The teacher had to talk to my mom and had to sit me down because I wrote a story about a bomb. And I had drawn pictures of bombs.
What did the story say?
I think it was a story about a bomb. I think I was telling my roommate all these happenings that I realized they must have thought I was gonna like bomb the school in first grade because then I also would would draw like I would always make characters evil. I would quote unquote evil. I'd give them evil eyes. I'd give them angry eyebrows and give them like fangs and like
Yeah.
vampire capes. No matter what like the coloring picture was. And I had to go to the principals a time or two for like
really.
for rough housing.
Oh, okay. what were you roughing up?
Wait, were you beating kids
Just some
up?
fellas?
Well, so this is okay. Now we're gonna get more deeper into the soul.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
Well, I had heard the phrase. Have you heard this phrase that if you don't think you were bullied in school, then you were the bully?
Right.
Have you heard this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And were you bullied in school?
Yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
Were you bullied in school?
I don't know if I was definitely teased. I was
Yeah.
definitely.
School.
I wasn't.
Were there years where you were on top?
I went through
Mm.
phases, but like up
don't think
until
so.
high school, I would say, or up until the
You were
7th
bullied.
grade, I was not.
You were not. Yeah, I was not. I was not in elementary school, and I reflected back later that I think I was.
I
the
think I
bully.
was too.
Yeah,
Oh my God, you
but
guys!
I think it's like an accidental bully. You know, I certainly
It
wasn't.
wasn't
I
acc-
certainly
dude, it
wasn't
wasn't
trying to
accidental.
be mean to anyone.
You know what?
and
That's
then-
like.
But I was like, oh, I went to the principal's office for like playing this game too roughly or things like
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
I would get in trouble.
Oh no, I was definitely bullied.
Oh no.
I didn't go to the principal's office because
Ever?
I bullied anyone else.
That's actually a great point. I never thought
Yeah.
about these things. I remember I would have like weekly visits with like my school counselor.
What the fuck would you say to these kids, Aaron?
I don't remember, but it was like
Weekly?
every week.
That's a lot more than I
Mr.
did.
Nakamura.
I had to go to the counselor because I was bullied.
I haven't thought about that man. I remember I was like, your I don't think I ever said this, but his arms were so hairy.
That's like the one detail that just
You said that to a
lives
kid?
in your memory.
No. I just have this memory of being in his
Mr.
office.
Nakamura. He's a
Oh.
hairy man.
Nakamura, and his arms were so hairy. No. I think he still works there
Oh, yeah.
at the school. Yeah, I looked
Give
him
him a
up.
ring.
Yeah, dude, I'll fucking call your ass.
Wait, so what did you guys do that upon reflection, when did you realize you were a bully?
So I'm literally living through this
Right
I,
now.
I'm kind of
No, yeah,
exploring.
please. Why were you at the counselor's?
So okay, I'm remembering a few things. I had a language problem from a young age because
Like
I
you
would
swear.
I would swear,
Yeah.
but like in elementary
He'd call
school,
other kids fuckheads.
I do remember in the
loser
6th grade.
balls.
Yeah, I remember like
A couple big bad ones in there too.
some bad ones, dude.
Because that's just the language you heard at home.
Those were just that's just what I heard around
no,
the house.
Your parents would never swear. Damn.
Actually, I don't know if that's entirely true. No, what it was is like we weren't censored in terms of the things that we could watch. Like I remember watching like kind of adult things in like
Really?
elementary school.
It's because you're youngest child, I think, too.
Yeah, so like my brother would have been like
I was hella
older,
censored.
so I was able to.
I
maybe
think,
you were
honestly,
too.
I think all youngest children are bullies.
Oh,
Perhaps, yeah, because you're
Or
maybe
more
bullied or
more
roughhoused.
likely, I won't say all. I think they're more likely to be bullies than
Mm.
oldest children.
I
You're,
wouldn't
you're
disagree.
bullied at home, and so at school, you bully others.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas oldest children, I think, are sheltered more, so they're more easily targeted.
I
Right.
think that's a pretty good read.
Yeah, I
My
think
older,
that's a great
oldest
I'm
brother
talking
got
about
bullied.
my own. No, Lila.
My
Lila was
family.
actually she was bullied heavily, but she also could be a bully.
Yeah.
Mm.
She just has a tough exterior, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to karate kids.
What?
Like in outside the classroom, we'd karate.
You would chop them.
Yeah.
Would you beat them up? Like, would you make them hurt a little bit?
No, but we would chop, and then we would probably chop too hard. So
And
I
they would
remember
cry.
Yeah,
that
yeah. I played a
being-
game like it wasn't that, but I went to the principal's for stick taser.
Oh.
And I was just playing the game. But what stick taser was tag with a stick, and you stabbed someone in the back to tag them. And I was just tasing those kids.
Yeah, you
too
were going
hard.
Yeah. Well, I remember
This just gives me like reconfirmation that you guys are just too obsessed with games.
Whoa, I'm having. I remember
that was the problem.
Maybe.
It was too intense.
I remember there was this troubled this kid who I learned later was troubled, and I remember a memory of thinking, "Oh shoot, something's probably wrong at home." But prior to that, he was just like he's just a troublemaker. You're in the first
Yeah.
grade. You're not conscious of things outside of just what's happening in the classroom. You just observe people as troublemakers. But it was this kid. His name was Kawila.
Okay.
And he was a troublemaker, and like I remember he just got sent out of the room all the time. And I remember one time we were in the lunchroom and he bit me.
Oh.
And
And you bit
spicy.
him right back.
I didn't bite him back, but I called him a bastard.
Yeah.
That's such like something that I feel like your dad would say.
I called kids bastards.
Yeah, I called him a bastard.
Because my dad that was like the one swear that he really
Right.
would go
This is
for.
a dad
That's
thing.
so
He would
funny.
he would go for bastard.
So he told
he really didn't say the F bomb or anything.
Oh, my dad used them all
He'd
in
go
Greek
F?
too.
Oh.
All of them.
he'd say F. Yeah.
My dad still says He swears a lot.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
dad. My family swears a lot.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's true. But I remember that being because he would be in the counselors like all the time, but I guess in like my once a week meetings, he was like, because he immediately like told the teacher, he told on me, he bit me.
Oh.
So you didn't bully someone. You were fighting back.
So I fought back in that instance, but like clearly I had counselor sessions. I'm not remembering.
Yeah,
this
why were you
happening
there
much.
once a week?
So I remember in that one, he was like, "Why do you even know what that is?
Yeah, bastard.
Like, how do you know that? Like, that's an advanced word."
yeah. How old were you?
I was in the first grade.
Okay, that's pretty young.
So he's like, "Why do you know that?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Dude, I don't know. I'm just like, I just fuck around."
Yeah.
I can't really remember the rest of that meeting. I think I also had a thing where I would lie to teachers about like things.
Yeah.
So that's what he would talk to me a lot about like it's not good to lie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you're a little liar sometimes.
Yeah, I would.
That's a
I'll do
youngest
some
child
little
thing
lies.
too. Lila would steal from the teachers.
She would steal.
She would steal. She would steal candy from their desk.
Candy.
Oh. Like when they
Whoa.
left the room, she would go up and
Yeah, and then this girl told on her.
yeah.
And I remember I was called down to the principal's office because I had to get Leela
Wow.
Oh, wow.
because she was crying so much and her teacher wouldn't let her back inside the classroom, so I had to take her into my classroom.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But that doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah.
So like a fourth grader took a kindergarten.
No, so
a
I
first
was
grader?
in 8th grade and she was in 1st grade.
You were in 8th and she was in 1st?
Yeah, because we're 5 years apart.
Wow, is that how that works?
Third grade?
Mm.
First and eighth?
She was 1st and I was in 8th, yeah.
That's definitely more than 5.
Are you sure?
8 minus 1 is 7. So that'd be
That's
7
correct.
years.
Yeah.
I think she was in 1st grade.
Well, I mean, this ain't a math podcast, so I could be mistaken. I don't know, man. I
I'm
believe
a math
for the
tutor for
that's
elementary.
true.
kids.
Yeah, and what
so
does
you
math
do the,
tutor
You do
say?
the math. No, because then how old would she? She would be 8 and I would be
13.
no. Yeah. Wait.
8 plus 5?
Is 13.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But would you be 8 in the first grade?
Yeah.
Because you're like
You
5
could
in
be eighth grade for 13. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
she
does
was
make
she
sense.
was you're 8 in 1st grade.
Are you down?
Yeah,
Are
you're
you?
you're
I
8 in the
literally
1st
don't
grade.
know.
Yeah, you are.
I feel like you're more like 6, but
No.
dude, I don't know.
You're 7 or 8. You're 7 or 8.
That sounds
And
good
then
to me.
yeah, because I was 9 in the 3rd grade. I was 9 and then I turned 10 in the 3rd grade.
Amazing.
Yep, I'm right.
Cool.
How do you know this?
Yeah,
I have a really good memory of my childhood.
that is
Um,
insane.
Because I remember I got the role of Clara the first time when I was in the 3rd grade and I was 9 years old.
Okay.
Oh.
Yes, it was a big moment in my life.
Oh.
But anyway,
From
Leela.
the Nutcracker.
Yes, from the Nutcracker.
Huh.
And Leela, I know she was in the 1st grade because I remember her 1st grade teacher was so upset with her and would not let her back into the classroom. She was mean to Leela for stealing. I don't know if that time it was because she stole the candy. There had been several strikes. But she was crying so badly at the principal's office that they called me for some reason. And
Yeah, that's bizarre.
I went to walk Leela back to her classroom and the teacher was like, "Nope." It's
What
like
did she do?
I was like, "Leela, just come sit with me for the rest of the day then, 'cause you can't go back in there."
How long?
It was like 30 minutes.
Oh.
It was the end of the day that she was kind of kicked out, but she wasn't let back in to be released. So I just took her home.
Oh, that's wild.
She sat with me in my classroom. Yeah.
Interesting.
I just remembered another one of my 1st grade drawing
Say.
stories is that there was this story. So we had to draw a picture and summarize a story that we knew from home or school or something. And there was this children's story where a crocodile and a bird, and one of the characters was named Pete. There was a crocodile and a bird, and they stop a diamond heist in the pyramids. And there's and so they stop the diamond heist, and there's a bad guy with sunglasses who's stealing the diamond. And I remember the one of the last pictures of the book is that somehow in the getting foiled, this villain, he loses all of his clothing. And so he runs out into the desert and I believe in the last picture of the book you just see perhaps a nude butt. You know, a pale body and a nude butt running off into the sunset. And so for my drawing, I drew the most memorable part of the book, which was the naked man running off into the sunset. And I always remembered it that I had just done the butt or something, because that was, I think, the original. And my friend, my best friend from that time told me, no, you drew everything. That's why you were in trouble. And so I think I drew a big penis in first grade.
Was it even on
drew
the
a cock.
guy in the drawing?
No.
You made that up.
No, I think I just knew that men had penises.
You knew it was
because I was a
supposed to be,
boy.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so between the bomb and the naked man, I think my teacher, Mrs. Huggins, would have
What the fuck is going on with Pete?
Yeah,
I remember in the 6th grade.
they also thought I had a learning disability.
Oh, did they? Which one?
They didn't know.
You're just like,
My
it's
mom
something.
rejected it.
Do you
My mom
think
said
you have a
no.
learning
That's something my parents would do.
I don't. I mean, I got older, and then it wasn't an issue. Whatever that disability was not an issue. These days, everyone can kind of think they have ADHD.
Right.
Maybe I have something like that.
Yeah. I think you could have also just been particularly creative, and I think that's disturbing to some teachers.
Certainly.
Like if you sort of and like for me, I think my personality as like a kid would morph depending on if I would see like a cool character on TV.
Yes.
I would, morph that into like my day-to-day at school, or I would tell a joke that I saw on TV, that sort of thing.
Or what your brothers thought was cool,
Yeah.
suddenly is your personality.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I think that, I see what you mean though.
Yeah. No, I think they
That's
were
very
I think they were
funny.
worried. Yeah, but my mom rejected, like the teacher parent-teacher
Right.
conference was like, I think he has a disability or something. Maybe he should be put in the special classes. And my older brother, actually both of them had both done the whole disability thing or whatever, reading disability or whatever it is, like the special room.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
And she thought it like ruined their track. She thought it made them feel dumb. She thought it set them up for failure. And so when she tells
Good
this
for
story,
her.
I didn't hear this until like last year, like a couple years ago.
Crazy.
She told me, and she got very upset at what was her name? Anyhow, my kindergarten
Say her
teacher.
fucking first and last name.
Covert.
That's pretty
Covert.
early on to be like, your child has learning
would they have
disability.
Yeah, I
known-
think that's why my mom was so pissed.
Would they have known that your brothers were also
Maybe.
involved?
I mean, my brothers were like only a couple years older.
Yeah, that's annoying.
So maybe.
They might have just categorized you based on your brothers.
That could also have been true because
Yeah.
it wasn't an issue by the time.
Yeah, that's
like,
weird.
I can
That's really weird.
remember,
I
because I wasn't noticing any weirdnesses from teachers
Right.
ever.
Yeah.
Or
I-
special treatment.
I went to one of the Waldorf schools in the 6th grade,
Yeah,
which are very weird schools.
project based, right?
All project based and very obviously like not culty, but very like they have like very foundational rules
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like things that are allowed and not allowed that are very strange. So it's very oriented on meditation, which I think is a good thing. The meditations
that's-
were weird though.
That's kind of cool.
That's kind of cute. Like imagining all these like 5-year-olds meditating.
Yeah.
Honestly, in terms of like the preschool and like pre-K level, I think it's actually probably really good for kids. Post that, it's a little strange. Although I will say a lot of my memories are of that year in particular. Like the way that I remember my education, 1st through 5th grade, blur. 6th or 7th through the rest of it, blur. I remember 6th grade
Clear.
very clearly.
Yeah.
Because it was so different. It was a big departure from other methods of learning, and honestly, I retained a lot of it. So, fucking who's to say that?
Well, you remember the projects you did probably, and what you probably learned with those projects, which
Yeah.
is the whole point. It's
Right.
like, oh, you learn through doing.
Yeah.
Is the whatever the
Yeah,
philosophy.
yeah, and so I mean, it was interesting. It was also like very art oriented
Why'd you go for 1 year and then leave?
because my parents hated. My parents
Oh.
didn't like it. I also really did not get along with the teacher.
Yeah.
I was
Did you bully the teacher?
so I was a problem child.
You kind of
um,
bully your teachers a little bit.
So
In Michigan, he kind of did too. Don't you?
in Michigan, I did.
Kind of a brat.
Oh yeah, maybe
You were a little bit of a bully too.
I was a little
teacher.
humbug. I was bah humbug.
You mean like he wouldn't do assignments and then just
Like,
assume
like
it
you
would be
kind of like
fine?
tease them a little bit.
Was I bah humbug a little?
I don't know. What do you mean?
To their face? No.
Mm.
Maybe a little. But anyway, so like in 6th
I'll
grade,
say later.
I remember, I mean, I used to get in like altercation. Well, one time he hit me. He like kind of hit me.
Oh, right. I think you
This was a
told me
teacher who
that
hit me.
story. You got hit by
That's
your
crazy.
teacher.
You got hit at the Waldorf
He got so
school.
pissed. Was
He
this
got really
Waldorf?
mad. Yeah, this is at Waldorf.
Oh wow, you must have really pissed him
Yeah.
off.
Because it's all about meditation. Like they're supposed to be so chill.
Yeah.
For lunch, they like do one of the bowl bells. You know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah,
they hit the thing and then they do a ring thing.
Oh, wow.
And then you
it's
eat.
very
Meditative.
meditation-y.
You do
Wow.
Tai Chi. You
Wow.
learn how to joust with sticks, but it's all related to meditation and
Oh.
like you would start your mornings doing Tai Chi. It was super meditative. They don't allow metal in the classrooms. Everything is wooden.
Wow.
There's a lot of emphasis on feng shui, the way that the classrooms are designed, the way that desks are oriented, and they don't really discuss this. It's just like ingrained into the classroom environment. Very weird. They don't use they use chalkboards and chalk, no
whiteboards.
and no technology.
Oh,
And
yeah, no
the
smart
paper was very
boards.
specific. The color pencils were very specific. They weren't brand names. It was all very interesting. All to say, oh yeah, so the teacher did hit me.
Why did he hit
Although
you?
looking back, like
Did
I
you
was
refuse to dig
I was
a
being
hole or
kind of
something?
an
To build a
Yeah, to build a teepee?
so no, it was like we were doing a play,
Okay.
and I think I was cracking too many jokes.
Wow.
So he hit you for that?
for being a clown.
He said scoot your chair closer to me, and I scooted it, but I didn't pick up the chair. I just like shrugged. I did it with my little butt,
As
with
kind
my
of a
little
gag.
6th grade butt as a
And
gag
so it made a big
to
sound.
make a noise, like a
Yeah.
little fart.
Yeah.
And then I did it for like 5 seconds. He said, "No, please pick up your chair." And I said, "Well, I just moved it." And then he came over
And he whopped you.
and he gave me a little
Where was the
whop whop. It wasn't like a big whop. It was like a hit and then like a grab of the face. Just being
Oh,
like
it was like a neck or something.
it was like
a neck
it was kind
grab?
of like a that, and then he grabbed my face.
A finger across the
Two
face.
hands,
or
very intimate.
2 hands.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, so it was a coming together.
It was well, it was like a and then
Wow.
like I need you to like the hit was like to reset me,
Yeah.
and then the grab was like
To
I need
Teach you a
shake
lesson.
you need to listen to me.
Yeah.
Did
It was
you
a
cry?
public shame. No, I didn't cry. I was in shock. I thought it was.
It is
I was
shocking.
still.
How
I
did
think
the
it's a
other
cope of
students
mine to
respond?
laugh. They were really confused.
Your parents were confused?
My parents were very upset.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have even told them. I didn't even think it was that. I think it's a cope of mine, honestly,
Yeah.
because I didn't even think it was particularly wrong. I was
You
like,
still
oh,
haven't told them?
no. They found
oh,
out,
they
but
found
it was
out.
because I was I was hanging out with a friend after school. My dad picked us up, and my friend told my dad.
Oh.
He was like, "Oh, this crazy thing happened. Like Mr. Della Croce,
Got him.
fucking get him.
For the record.
Like fucking grabbed him."
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "What? Wait, what?"
Wow.
So it was, but anyway,
How old were you?
I mean, sixth grade. I don't know how old that would have been, but we used to like. I was the class clown. I was a little troublemaker, bad boy.
Yeah.
So like we used to do paintings and drawings. And I was always very bad at them.
Yeah.
So and then they were very particular about everything. So like you had to sign your name
okay.
in the bottom left corner or one of the fucking corners every single time. So I stopped and I would sign different names every time because it was in one booklet.
Right. Oh, it was all and
It's
so
all
you're
in
doing
one
a
book.
Joke. You'd sign.
So
a different
one
name.
I wrote like Apple, but I spelt it wrong. I did like the stock symbol for Apple, APPL.
Oh, the stop. Oh,
Like I don't
okay.
know why I would do the dumbest shit all the time.
Yeah.
So like he showed my parents, and he was like, "This is like really odd behavior."
yeah, they're jokes.
Like what? Like I don't understand. Like Apple, and he spelt it
So
wrong.
what did
Like
they
what does that
say?
mean? Well, my dad had a talk with me, and he was like, "What?" Like, what is going on?
What's wrong with you, son? What's wrong with you? I love you. You have to tell me what's wrong with you.
So it wasn't a conversation as intense that, but I remember it was like a real conversation. And then my mom flips to this one that's actually really funny. Because I didn't remember I drew this. Because they're all like, finished paintings, because they would be paintings based on prompts. And then one is just in between the paintings. And it's like Squidward, but with a penis for a nose.
Yo, 6th grade.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't have fun? Like, what? But she flipped to that one, and she was like, this one was really disturbing. Or she was like, I was disturbed by this one. And then she shows
Your poor mother.
and I was like,
Wait, did your parents find that humorous, or were they really worried?
I mean, they were like upset that I would do that in a classroom. I think they were probably they were like embarrassed.
Yeah, I guess
of
that's
me.
embarrassing.
And like, cause they had no idea.
But did anybody ever stop and say, I think Aaron's a jokester. I think that's what's happening. He wants to be funny. Like, that's why he's acting. It's not that he's stupid. It's that he's pretending to be stupid to be funny.
Right.
Wait,
And I think the thing that made my teacher upset is that I was like able to. There wasn't a ton of academic work.
Yeah.
So and the academic work was honestly a little bit behind even what my elementary school was doing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just the way that because they tend to take kids from K to 12th grade.
Right. At the Dorf.
Right.
Yeah.
At the Dorfy.
Yeah.
At the Dorf school. So they're just like a little behind at that age or whatever. So I'd already learned most of that shit.
Yeah.
So I just like knew the stuff. So I think it frustrated him to a degree. I don't know.
What were you gonna ask, Sophia?
I was gonna ask, was your dad a troublemaker in school?
Yeah, he was. So I found that out later because I met my dad's friend, Ron, in New York. One time he was like, "Oh, your dad was always a troublemaker, kind of a troublemaker bad boy. In college, he would do similar things, and he would."
That's crazy
So
'cause
he
was
said
so
this.
young.
He said this, and it contextualized a lot. He was like, "Oh, I have this photo of your dad. This is him. We were going to take the final exam, and all of us were really freaked out and studying hard. Your dad didn't study. He was reading through. He was flipping through the book on the way to school.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh fuck, this is me.
Yeah, that's just you.
Well, I think that happens to people who are really smart.
They can get away with cramming.
Yeah, like I think that they almost like people who are too smart. They, at least for their grade, like I think that they can sometimes underprepare, or they can like kind of joke around because the material is not challenging enough for them.
Yeah.
I just remember.
And your dad was clearly like he was 16 when he went to college. He's clearly a genius.
He was.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was young. He was a young boy. He always talks about being 16 and going to college. And like literally being a fucking child.
Yeah.
He was like, I also like developed later, so I looked like a literal child. And I remember going to college for the first day, and he was like living at home. He was 16. No one wanted to fucking hang out with him.
Oh.
It's like it sucked. It
Aw.
sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just like was outside the social world.
Yeah.
of it
I mean, imagine meeting a
completely.
16-year-old as an 18-year-old going into college. Like, you would not. There's like a.
I don't think I would go out of my way to be their friend, and then they probably wouldn't end up being friends. But if I was like forced to be, I'm sure I would have been friends with that.
Yeah, you would have been
kid.
friendly, but it's not like
Yeah.
you would be like.
They'd be like, oh, I
There's
have to
a
go back to my
different-
parents' house tonight. That's
Right.
just like a completely different world than when
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
18 and excited to be living away from home in a
That's
dorm or
hard.
something.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was like really hard. But I remember I've had like phases, and maybe like you guys have had this recently or more so recently, but like of getting waves of, and maybe like stories being told to you of like, oh fuck, I'm my dad. And that was like the first one where I was like, because those weren't even things that I would have learned through my father.
Yeah.
My dad was like embarrassed that
Yeah.
his friend was saying the story. He was like, don't. He was like, he gave him like the wave, like, don't say the story.
Yeah.
Like, shut up.
And these are things that I have done my entire life, that my brother has done his entire life, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's also because your family, like, they're very intellectual. So
But
I
there are
think that
intellectual people who still study for things, and you know what I'm saying?
Your brother wasn't like that.
Yeah, but like,
and neither were you. And
but-
clearly neither was your dad.
okay, but there are.
You're getting my point.
But there are people who still like. There are people who are smarter than me who obviously still fucking study for things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like it's just like the way that our psyche must work, or the way that we inherited certain or learned certain.
The
things,
kids who ended up being like valedictorian and stuff at my school, because I went to like pretty academically based school too. It would be like they have maybe that intuitive thing we're talking about, where they could probably get away with being underprepared.
Yeah.
But they still prepared. That
Right.
or that meant they could add to their workload. That meant they could take
Right.
another
See,
AP
Aaron?
course.
If you apply yourself, you can be big.
Be valedictorian
You could be valedictorian of your high
Yeah.
school.
and go back.
But I was the same way, where I think I floated
were
by.
like that
I was
too.
able to float by.
Did you study in
scooted.
school?
No.
No, I
Oh,
never
see,
did.
I'm naturally dumb. I'm naturally dumb.
And you had to study.
But I am a
to-
hard ass worker.
You're
so
very hard
You
I've
are
gotten
very
a
hard worker.
4.0 my entire life. I'd still add on my fingers. I talked my teacher into
Wow.
giving me an A in math. Like I'm just like that's why I know that it's because you're smart. That you're able to flip through the book before.
Oh.
Because I'm not. So that's why I was like, that's
Or
why.
I always felt like I think this helped me in my acting stuff, and there are different reasons why people are good at actors. One of my strengths is short-term memory, because I can cram. I can cram a test. I can cram.
Yeah,
I can cram a
same.
monologue.
Yeah, that's great.
I can cram a scene.
Yeah.
And then I just forget it the next day.
Right.
And you can probably let go really easily too when you're acting.
Maybe. I don't know. In terms of memorized text?
No, like in terms of like being in your head, probably.
Oh. I have to push past that short term. That's actually something I remember being a very clear intuitive feeling, is that I can get by knowing the words, but I can't fully let go unless I've actually been trying to memorize it longer than today, than the short term.
Yeah.
Like, because otherwise I can only get the words and do nothing else. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe you let go a little bit when you're just
when you're just looking at it for the first time.
Yeah.
like I guess like you for me, you might have that very first impression, but then you can't read it in any other way,
Right.
or I can't read it in any other way if I've memorized it in that short term cram style.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Were your parents like that too? Do you think that, like how Aaron
We're
said,
cram people.
or were like,
I have no
are they
idea.
highly intellectual people, or?
I have no idea really about my mom's academic life. I know my dad had a pretty strong academic life in high school, but he always claims that it was like he was in a small town, and so maybe. Well, actually, I don't know if he says that. Maybe I just think that is that he had a really good academic life, but it was because he was in a rural town. We have another friend, Joel. Maybe that will be bleeped. I don't know. But he was salutatorian, and he always says,
Oh, because
I was only salutatorian because like I graduated with like 100 other people who all wanted to be farmers.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. It's a different.
it's just a
what
different
he-
world.
Is what he
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah.
But no, I think my dad would cram a little bit, and then I think I don't really know. I would need that friend.
Yeah,
to tell
again, I
me.
would have never.
My dad doesn't
known.
really want to talk about being
Yeah,
young
yeah.
at all.
Really?
No, he doesn't talk about it much. He maybe will talk about football sometimes because he used to play football.
Hell yeah.
Dang.
And then he was like in a frat.
Was he like a
and-
jock?
I think he was like a nerdy jock. Honestly, he was captain of the football team.
Oh,
President of the high school.
That's so funny.
He was a cool baby daddy.
Yeah, it was. But
Cool baby
again, it was
daddy.
It was Fairfield, Illinois.
Insane.
Maybe
Yeah, but I
3,000
feel like
people.
Midwest, like captain of football, is
Yeah.
pretty like
That's such a
macho
vibe.
man.
Sure, he's definitely macho man.
It's-
And everybody knew
yeah.
my dad's family. They are kind of That's funny about when I go visit. They are celebrities.
Whoa.
They're celebrities
Whoa.
in that world.
That's
Wait,
Which is
why?
a
Because
very
of the
small world.
football, or because of other things?
Well, I think my grandmother was super extroverted or, just knew everyone. My grandfather ran a family lumber business.
Everson Steel.
Everson Lumber. Yeah. No, but like my great grandfather started like a lumber blah blah blah. There's been a family lumber business. I know. I actually did feel connected to it in that way, and it doesn't exist anymore. That lumber company, and then my dad has a twin. And
are they identical?
They're identical twins.
Holy shit.
Wait, that's kind of crazy.
And my dad's identical twin got second in the state wrestling championship, and no one ever forgot it.
Whoa.
That's
Like, can't believe it.
Like, no, it's a big, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Bruce Dickey, he has a talk show.
You sent
he
me
has a Southern Illinois talk show.
Were you on it?
I was on it. I think I came off like a big jerk.
What did you talk about?
It was funny. It was funny.
I think maybe
you listened to it?
Yeah.
I think I was on edge a little bit because I thought he was going to give me crap, and then he kind of did, and I wanted to give and take a little.
Right.
But then I think he was surprised I was trying to, I don't know.
To give him
I felt
some
like
riz.
a jerk. I felt like I maybe was a
it was
jerk
good.
or something.
It was good because like he looks like much older than you,
Yeah.
And it definitely seems like it's someone else coming into someone else's space.
Yeah.
So when that's happening, I felt like it was honestly kind of fun.
Yeah,
to do that.
There were a couple fun parts. The one part I remember really clearly is that he was asking me about, I don't know, he was being nice and asking me about theater or plays or writing or something, and I gave him a kind of a hippy-dippy answer, which the hippy-dippy answer being like, I hear voice, it's a whole John Patrick Shanley thing.
Right.
You hear voices, blah, 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 all this stuff. You got to quiet the voices, all this stuff. And he made fun. He toasted me for my hippy-dippy answer.
Damn,
he was like,
bro.
what are they teaching you up at that Michigan school? And I was like, it was an art school. I went to art school. What don't you understand?
That doesn't take that long.
The awful family secret has come out that you decided,
They got a great program.
You brought it up.
I did.
What in the world got into your head to make you want to go to the University of Michigan?
Actually, like, that's Pete Dickey.
Do people recognize me? No.
No,
But
but they recognize your dad.
They would definitely recognize
Papa
That's
Dick.
crazy.
a lot of the Dickies. Because they're also very tall. They're famous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
your
yeah,
family
yeah.
is tall. Yeah.
Yeah. My uncle's like, my brother claims he's 6'7",
What?
Holy shit.
which I never believed that.
But
Hank
it's
is
close
6'7".
enough to say that.
Yeah, but
I've
yeah.
never
he
even
might even say
seen
6'8".
someone
Wait, I
that
can't
tall.
remember if he says 6'7"
I
or
don't
6'8".
think I've ever seen anyone that
You've
tall.
never met my brother? You've never seen a
No.
picture of my brother?
Is he at least 6'5"?
This is the Justin Bieber brother.
Holy moly. No wonder he was so scared.
the Biebs was so
He
scared.
was being towered
He
over.
ran away.
Yeah.
He's being fucking stood over by a giant.
Yeah. And then I have an uncle who's probably 6'6". My dad
Holy
said he
shit.
used to be 6'5", but he shrunk. He says he's 6'4", 6'3" now.
That's
Holy
insane.
crap.
I'm only 6 foot. My brother has two, so I have two nephews now. My brother had two kids, and my sister-in-law's brother. So I have like a brother-in-law, I guess is how that works, or something. I don't know. That guy is like 6'5". So on both sides of the
Damn, they're
family,
Oh,
gonna
they're gonna
be-
be tall.
there is some long genes, and
Yeah.
the second baby was a very long
It was a
baby.
long baby.
Was abnormally long. It's like a really really
crazy.
long baby.
Wow. Usually you hear heavy,
yeah,
but he's a long boy.
he's long. Yeah,
That's
I was
good.
heavy. I was a really fat baby.
Yeah, I was
apparently.
a big boy.
But no, yeah, my family is famous in
Wow.
That's
Fairfield,
crazy.
Illinois.
Damn.
And so
Fairfield. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of Fairfields.
Yeah. No, I know.
There are multiple Fairfields.
You been there?
No, I've. Nah, later,
There's
time.
Fairfields in like every state.
Okay,
There might be multiple in Illinois,
got it.
but it's just a rural town.
Got it.
It's a farm town.
Got it.
Damn.
My dad always thought he was when What's It came out, what was it called? 3 billboards
Yes.
outside
Ebbing, Missouri.
Ebbing, Missouri. My dad was really offended by that movie. Isn't that an
Okay.
interesting
What-
reaction
What
to
part
3
of it?
billboards?
That's shocking.
So because Three Billboards is this movie where like
Wait, have you not seen it?
No, I've seen it. I'm just wondering
Oh.
what part of it he was offended by.
well he said he was offended. He was like Southern towns are not like that. Like that's not what the South is like at all. Which was interesting because then that meant he really identified as a Southerner, and he's talked about how his friends and family also hate the Neil Young song "Southern Man" because Southern Man's all about racism,
Right.
and so basically, and so I guess same thing with Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I think he's offended that.
Well, that was like the whole Leonard
everyone
Skinner
thinks-
song, "Sweet Home Alabama." They talk about Neil Young. Neil Young.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So what's the line?
I'm forgetting the line. It's
Yeah.
like good old Neil doesn't know what he's talking about.
Doesn't know what a Southern man is.
Right.
Yeah.
Something
yeah,
along those
exactly. Yeah.
Neil Young is definitely like a big source of contention for a lot of like tried and true Southerners.
Yeah. If you like Neil,
Yeah.
he was taking pot shots.
Right.
I guess.
He was
I don't
like,
know.
wait, you guys can be kind of fucked up sometimes.
Yeah. No,
but yeah.
I've always kind of, I've grown up in kind of I think the mainstream dogma that I just kind of assume Southerners are a little backwards, maybe
Yeah.
Sure.
holding on to some racism. I don't
mean,
know.
Right.
But yeah, my dad really didn't like that movie because I guess Southern Illinois, and then I kind of made fun of him because Southern Illinois is like not the South,
Right.
or certainly not Alabama.
Yeah.
You know, but then when we just said Ebbing, Missouri again, okay, well they live really close to Missouri, so maybe he's a little Southern.
That's
Southern dog.
crazy.
Yeah, I asked another friend from Illinois, and she was like, "Illinois is not the South. Illinois is not the South."
Whoa,
This
that
was-
sounds like a
this was
cope a
Maggie
little.
Shea.
Oh.
Yeah. Which yes, Chicago is certainly not the South.
Yeah.
Champaign, which is where University of Illinois, I don't think you would call it the South, but Southern Illinois, they
You're
might
getting down
start
there.
getting a little Southern.
You're
I don't
getting
know.
down there.
I think
It's
it depends how you
country.
identify.
Yeah, for sure.
My cousin lived out in L.A. for a couple of years, and I didn't remember this at all. And I went, but now he's living back in Fairfield, in Southern Illinois, and we were hanging out. And last time I was there, and he just loves country living. Oh, and this is the story.
Why
this
did
is
he
the
come
story.
to LA?
To hang out, and he would
Oh.
to weekend warrior is what he called it. L is a pretty good place to weekend warrior, which means to go clubbing or party or
Oh.
to go drinking.
Gotcha. Those cowboy bars weren't enough for him.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing. There's nothing fun in Fairfield. There's just a golf course, and you can drive to Mount Vernon and bowl,
Mount
or you
Vernon.
could play slots at the fucking gas station,
Hell
because
yeah.
Illinois legalized gambling at, I believe, or maybe it's lotto or something. No, I think it's like slots. Illinois legalized slots in gas stations, which is really fucked up. 'Cause you
Yeah,
see
that's
people just
really fucked
sitting there all
up. You
day.
will see
in,
people
like,
just. I remember when we were driving
really
to
sad.
California. Yeah, you would see folks just sitting there.
yeah, like in Nevada.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just keeps you poor.
Yeah.
Wait, what was
but-
your?
Another part of the part with my cousin was he was like, "Come on, we'll go golfing. Your parents can drive. You and me can take the truck." And so we got in his truck, and he was like, "You want a beer?" And so we drank a beer, driving in his truck, and he called it. I was like, "I'll be honest, Sam. I don't drink beers in cars that often." And he
Yeah.
was like, out here we call that country cruising. Okay. Now, honestly, maybe this part needs to be cut, but I doubt any of my family listens to this podcast or will ever see this. But yeah, Sam, my family worries though, because Sam has gotten a couple DUIs.
Oh.
So I think that might be.
So maybe it's not country.
I told my
cruising.
dad about country cruising, and he was like, "That might be a cope." He didn't use the word cope, but
He's like, it's actually a legitimate problem that I think he's overcompensating for.
yeah, they're
because,
like, oh, really? Oh,
You're like, Dad, I learned
man.
about this new thing.
I heard about.
yeah.
In the glove compartment, there's a subpoena.
Yeah, or and then like yeah, my parents were like, "How's Sam doing?" You know, I was like, "I seemed like he was doing really well, you know, in the drive." And I said, you know, he's doing his like cigar business or whatever because he's selling cigars, and so I said he was doing really well. My dad was like, "Really?" Maybe 'cause, I don't know. They won't see this ever, but yeah, they worry about Sam Dickey. 10 years older than me to the day.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
to the
beautiful.
same
That's a lot
birthday.
older.
Same birthday.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, so we never really connected, and then we country cruised
And then you
together.
crunchy
Then you
cruise.
cruised.
And he was out in LA, and then he was back there, and it was this really weird dichotomy of like I was moving out to LA a couple weeks later,
Right.
you know, and
But he wanted to go back to
Fairfield.
Fairfield.
I think it was safer and maybe a little easier to make money. I think he was just
Yeah.
really struggling financially, probably. I mean, it's just hard to make money out here.
It's really I feel like I wouldn't come to LA if I didn't want to do a specific career.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he,
for
he was
sure.
in Chicago for some time and then LA just with his like college friends.
Dang.
But yeah.
Wow.
That's a little slice of my family life.
That's a nice slice.
That's some juicy stuff.
Yeah, I do like the slice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It always makes me think about like I don't know, like I think with you, Aaron, if you were raised by extroverted parents, I think it would be a problem.
Oh yeah, that's
Like
Oh.
I always and so that's why I like asked you about your parents because like for example me, like I'm naturally introverted and nerdy, but I was
Yeah.
raised by super social, outgoing,
by huge extroverts. Yeah.
huge extroverts. And so because of that, I'm really good at like social skills, stuff like that, but I get really anxious in social situations because
Yeah.
I'm naturally like that. Like I think I would have been like a really awkward nerd if I wasn't raised by extroverts.
Yeah.
I think Aaron would have been a problem child if he was raised by extroverts.
That's true.
Oh, he would go too far. He
Yeah.
would be throwing rocks,
Yeah.
pennies.
Yeah.
I did throw a rock and I broke. And in the 6th grade, I threw a rock and I scratched a window, and a woman ran
Wow.
up to me and she said, "What did you like?" She was kind of a.
I always wanted to throw rocks.
I did.
but I knew it was so. I knew it was like the most
I
wrong
didn't
thing.
mean to throw it on the window. I wanted to throw it on the roof, and I fucked up.
Well, that's still bad. The roof,
Yeah,
because
I
if
thought it'd be
if it
okay.
hits hard enough, the car alarm will go off.
that's true.
Ooh.
And then if no one's around, then that
Yeah.
car alarm. Just
Or
goes
no,
off.
it was on the roof of a
house?
of a
Oh, of a
building
ca- of a car or a
the
house.
admin building.
Oh yeah.
But I hit the window of the admin building, and it scratched the admin building window.
There, we would throw rocks. This only happened a time or two, but we'd throw rocks at the back of the Safeway because it
Hell yeah.
had a really soft facade, and
Mm.
you could smash the. There were all these holes. There were all these rocks in the back of the fucking Safeway, and we walked past it once, and were blown away at the number of rocks in the wall. So we contributed, 20 of our own.
That's amazing.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Huh. That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I always wanted to throw rocks in the street though, because rocks are also in everyone's like suburbia lawns.
Oh,
Right.
There's a lot of like rock features, and so you can always just kind of be holding the rock, playing with the rock, tossing it in the air. So I was always tempted to just chuck it in the street, but there were cars going by, and I think I did throw a rock once without trying, not trying to hit a car or anything, and a lady, harassed me for it. My mom was like,
Oh.
you should never do that ever. Really got serious.
Damn, people
on
really
me.
get. I guess
People get worked
throwing
up.
rocks could be pretty violent.
I think it's pretty dangerous. I mean, you can
It could,
smash
it's
a window.
definitely
Yeah.
dangerous.
If someone drives by, it could
Right.
like, wreck a window.
Yeah, a mom got so mad.
But a rock just feels like a snowball,
Well, it's like
Actually, I think I threw
feels
snowballs at cars
nice.
sometimes. too,
Snowballs,
and that was
cool.
also not supposed to be okay.
Eh. More harmless though.
But kids honestly they really don't know.
Well, you don't really
That it's like-
associate like things being done with consequences
Yeah.
or what the result really means.
Yeah.
And I don't think I made that. I don't think I understood that all the time.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Like she was so mad at me.
Yeah.
You okay, bro?
No, I'm like fine. I just haven't thought about that in a while.
I think you raised a really interesting point, Sophia, about being raised by extroverts or being raised by introverts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
what do you
agree.
think you are?
I think maybe I'm a little ambivertrous. Feel like
Uh-huh.
I could, like, depends on the social situation.
Mm.
I get really excited around extroverted things. I need someone to kind of carry me along. But
Yeah,
if
yeah.
somebody's carrying me to the fun events, I really enjoy being extroverted. But my parents were definitely introverts. Like, friends didn't come over to our house. Their
Really?
friends
Yeah,
didn't
same.
come over. Like, the
We
house
never
was
had people over.
super clean,
Bro, same.
super in
Quiet?
order,
Was it fairly quiet?
very quiet,
Wow.
a little cold.
Totally.
Do you think
same.
that you're naturally an ambivert?
An ambivertress.
Yeah.
Naturally. I don't know. I think I'm probably introverted.
Oh wow. Okay.
Ultimately. I think I really get excited, though,
Okay.
if somebody takes me along.
Yeah.
And these days, I almost feel like sometimes I have to be the extrovert of the group. Sometimes I feel like I
Okay.
have to be the one to
Yeah, I've been
make
feeling
something
that for you.
happen, or
Yeah.
because you have the realization of, I think this extroverts have already had this realization deep in their bones, but nothing fun's going to happen unless I make it fun.
Right.
So I have to make fun happen.
Right.
Mhm.
Just make
And-
fun happen.
And so sometimes it's a choice to make fun happen.
Yeah.
But
Totally.
yeah. Or I don't know why it took me so long to realize this, but like a hangout that you don't really want to see the person, or you don't think they're that exciting, but they want to hang out with you.
Right.
You can just plan a thing that will be fun for you no matter what.
That's true.
That's true.
You can.
That's actually true. That's a good way of putting it.
If I like the beach, but I don't really like this person,
You just go to the
if
beach.
we go to the beach together, I'm going to enjoy the beach.
That's so true.
That's actually, I think, a good trick for like first dates,
Yes.
because
Oh yeah, that's true. You
if
probably
you don't like the date, you don't know if you're gonna like the date.
right. And then I think like if you're in an environment of something you enjoy, you're able to maybe strike a conversation better than if
Yeah.
you're in kind of a neutral zone.
Yeah,
You
or
know?
you're both trying something new.
Right.
Like, that's tricky as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like you just need to feel fairly comfortable.
Yeah, I think if you're in the beach or something, I think it just relaxes you.
Yeah.
Because it's fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, for me, the beach has remained exciting because I didn't grow up with beaches.
Mm.
That
So
makes
every time I
sense.
go, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm at a
You're
freaking
like,
beach.
I'm in a beach.
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's
Yeah.
very exciting to go.
You're a
the
beach boy.
Beach. I would
Beach
like to be a beach
boy.
bum.
Which one?
Which one?
Yeah.
Brian. Oh, I can't remember his name. Who's the main guy?
Brian Wilson.
Oh, Brian. I thought you said Ryan. I was like, it's
Yeah.
not Ryan.
Wait, I want to know what your New Year's story was.
Oh, my New Year's story.
Yeah.
Okay, so I haven't thought about this night since it happened.
I hope it's juice. Yeah.
Okay, so was it juice? So I think I turned down a different New Year's event to go see the girl that I'd been on and off dating, because she was
Oh.
hosting a party at
From-
her apartment.
Wait, which girl were
Oh.
you on and off dating?
The clown.
Oh, from Colorado.
Send in
Yes,
the
I was in Colorado.
clown.
You were in Colorado. Oh, right. You weren't here, obviously.
I wasn't here. So, she was hosting a party, and we had already seen each other and hooked up previously in the week, and just like she just like wasn't inviting me to this party that I knew she was hosting for a
How'd
while.
you know she
That's-
was hosting?
I don't remember. I think she was talking about it. I think she was
That's
like,
anarchy.
excited.
That's Joker right there.
That's Joker. I think she was, and so I think I brought it up, maybe the morning after, or pretty late, far into the the date or whatever, pretty late into hanging out. I was like, so it was like before I was gonna leave for that day,
This is
on
after-
the
this is
27th or
after-
28th or 29th or
Okay,
something.
I didn't know you guys were still seeing each other past this point.
We started seeing each other again when I'm there.
Only when you're there. It's like an area code thing.
I guess so. I
Okay.
Area
guess it's
code.
like-
Yeah, no one thinks that.
It's
area
a
code-
303. Code 303. That's the area code.
Area coding is a thing. I feel like maybe it's just a San Francisco thing.
I'd never heard
No,
of
I
it,
think I've
but
heard
yeah.
that. It's
Yeah,
like you
right?
go and see the person only when you're in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were area
I
coding.
think we're area coding right now.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, you're still area coding.
Well,
It has remained
we
to
haven't
be
been talking
seen.
much since New Year's, but yeah.
She's like your
we were
fun,
left on a
like
good
Colorado
end.
fling moment.
Yes.
Okay.
I guess.
Okay, continue with
We
your
tried to
story.
be semi-serious for a second, and it wasn't working.
Yeah,
it
that's
was.
hard.
It
Sometimes
really
it ain't
was
like
not
that.
working at all.
Sometimes it ain't like that.
No, yeah. Okay, so what happened? So she just wasn't inviting me, and I eventually was like, "So, were you ever gonna invite me to?" So I
Yeah.
called her on it. I was like, were you
Invite
ever
me to
gonna
your
invite me
party?
to your party?
Yeah, what the
She's
hell?
like, "Oh, I guess if you want to."
Whoa! Joker alert.
But I was like, "Do you not want me to come?" No, I want you to come, but you didn't invite me.
Yeah.
No, I'm inviting you now. Okay. So there's
So
that
you
whole
wanted to
element.
go. What the fuck?
Well, yeah, because there's a part of you that's like, okay, New Year's Eve has this like cultural coding of
Yeah.
like, you kiss
Go to
Yeah, you have a little
someone,
kiss.
Like it's you heavily drink.
Like our kissing
Yeah.
episode.
It's like a part like
When we went kiss,
when you guys went kiss and 1.7 thousand people
watched it.
saw you guys go kiss.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That was insane. I think the internet broke that day, guys.
For us, that's breaking.
I think you guys broke the internet.
For us,
It,
yeah.
It goes Kim K's butt,
Her fucking ass
and
with the
then
champagne.
big guy, little girl smooching on camera.
Yeah.
Wait, no, little guy, big girl.
Same thing.
Little
Smooching.
girl, no, little big guy. Which
We got the LLC for one of them.
okay.
Your
and-
story. Back to you.
Okay, so I go to the party. It's a weird night. I turned down a different party, I think. Yeah, I turned down a different one. That would have also been kind of awkward just to go to hers, where I know I'm only gonna know a couple people there.
Wait, so do you have friends at home, like home friends that were at home that you were gonna hang out with, or no?
Yeah, or I was invited to a different.
And you turned them down.
Yeah,
Okay, you wanted the mystique, you wanted the kiss.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It wasn't gonna be. They weren't doing anything crazy. It was gonna be kind of chill.
Yeah.
But
But no opportunity for a sweet
no
For a sweet,
opportunity
sweet
for a
smooch.
sweet kiss. And I think I don't know. So went there. And it's like weird to show up to a party solo.
Yeah,
like it
I
felt.
get you.
But I mean, I had a little bit to drink before, so it wasn't like going in sober. But yeah, I went in, and it's just like all these kind of 20-something Denverites who. Luckily, actually, a lot of people there didn't know each other already, but it's kind of like artsy, creative types.
Is that what Denver is
and-
like?
The 20-somethings? Yes,
Okay.
Mm.
at least in this
Like more than here?
world. I'm sure equally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe a little crunchier in terms
Okay.
of like
Granola.
your.
We got the crunch.
I mean this. So
Which
so the
cereal,
tarot
you know?
got cracked.
Okay.
This fine evening.
Got
Okay.
you.
Is
Say
one of
no
those
more.
kinds of groups. No, it's mostly people who, it's almost like expats. It's like everyone's from a
Yeah.
different state. Weirdly,
Right.
like everyone moved recently. Everyone at this party only knows a couple other people, which took me a while to realize.
to figure out.
But it's literally just like, I don't know if you've been to a party that's like in a small apartment with like 20 people who don't know each other.
Oh,
But it's really weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a little strange. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
And I don't know, I'm kind of seeking attention from my kind of girlfriend, and kind of receiving it, but not really. And then I almost leave.
How did she greet you?
I don't know. Excited to see me.
Hug,
and hug,
kiss.
and maybe a kiss. I don't know if we kissed,
I don't
but it was a
remember
hug.
if you kissed.
I know when we kissed.
Okay.
Okay, let me cut. I just got to cut. I just got to cut to the juice. Anyhow, kind of a weird vibe, and everyone's like like there's a guy. I'm sitting in one of the in the living room, and one of the guys introduces like a get to know you game, but it's like 11:50, and people are like drunk and high. It's like this dude's like anxious,
What
more
are
anxious
you
than
doing?
me.
Oh,
Like-
that poor guy. He was like, okay, like I haven't had a lot of great conversation. I'm just gonna. He's in
Yes!
the bathroom. He's like, what if I
Aw.
This
bring
is
up
the
this
guy.
game and I have this game and we're gonna get to know each other?
Good
and
for
I'm-
him.
He
for
went out.
You know, he
proposing
did
the
a good. You know,
game.
he
And
was
did people play?
we played along and like it worked for some people, but by the time the circle got to me, no one cared.
Oh,
But that's okay because I didn't really want to do it.
want to go for it.
And luckily the New Year's countdown happened, and there's something with grapes. Do you know anything
Yeah,
about
you
grapes?
eat 12 grapes like from 11:59 to or is it
What?
midnight?
So we're
to-
passing out grapes,
Yeah.
and everyone had drinks.
If you have to
and we
eat
all
them in the
drank,
minute, and then it's good luck for the new year. Yeah.
I didn't know all this folklore.
I gotta cut to the good parts of this story. We kissed at the thing. She was on the other side of the circle during the. So I was like, I don't know. I'm not gonna like cross.
Yeah.
During the midnight.
But she crossed
And
to me.
kissed
And
you.
kissed
Which I
you.
appreciate.
Oh, that's nice.
It would have been really fucking weird.
That would have been
But
awkward.
it also, it's one of those groups of people who, the platonic friends are also kissing.
Really?
So everyone was kissing?
A little bit.
So everyone
Some of
gave
the-
a smooch.
some folks.
People found someone to
I'm
give
like,
a
so
smooch.
Some folks are
Did you
queer.
kiss
some
anyone
folks are-
else?
No, I didn't. I only knew really one person because my other friends that I knew, they decided to leave. Like they had already left. They
Oh.
had come and left, and they
Oh.
went to like a rave or something.
Pete at the rave scene
Or-
in Denver is amazing.
It's the rave
That's
scene. That's what
terrifying.
it's like, or they went to like a punk or
we
electronic. or-
have to know what that is one day.
You do not want to go to a rave.
Yeah, I
Did I
do.
send you
With
the
you, I did.
videos? I sent
Yeah,
you
you
some
sent
videos.
me some videos.
Yeah, no. So I'm that group of people are in touch with the queer rave community
Amazing.
in Denver and Boulder and around Colorado,
That's amazing.
which I think rave tends to be kind of like queer.
Well, it's like expression
I
and
think
being
it
able.
could be really queer or really scarily straight.
That's
So
true.
they're in the very not straight.
Yeah,
a
that's the safer rave.
There's also like
it
I
is.
a lot of
Similar drugs though.
true.
Yeah.
A lot of Asians are into it too.
Oh really?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I don't know. No Asians at this party, Aaron.
Well, not that kind of vibe.
Only white people.
Only white people. I imagined it that way. Don't worry.
There was a German.
Ah,
Ooh, spicy.
a little worst.
A little worse, the worst of the worst. The worst. Okay, what? And then there was the. Basically, I figured the party was gonna wrap up eventually, but it was at her apartment, so I kind of figured, I was gonna leave, but then I stayed, and I was trying to sleep with her. I just wanted to. I
Yeah.
wanted the party to end.
Yeah,
and to just
you wanted
like,
to stay the night.
to stay the night and actually sleep too, because I started getting really tired.
Right.
Yeah.
But then the tarot got cracked,
Oh.
and then everyone was passing a joint, and then the people came back from the rave at 2 a.m.
Whoa.
And so I was in the tarot room with the incense for 3 or 4
Ooh.
hours, getting
3 or
higher and
That's a
4
lot.
hours.
yeah, because it was like post midnight to like 4 a.m. Mostly in the tarot
Oh, that's
bedroom,
really
sitting
late.
crisscross with folks, and like doing the tarot, and like tarot's fun, but
Yeah.
I don't know, it's not that thrilling to me.
No.
I did get a nice rock.
You got a
out
rock
of
to
it.
keep?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
the
cool.
girl I like is
She gave
into
you a
tarot
rock.
and rock and incense.
Wait,
and
which
stuff.
rock did she give you?
The green one.
I
Whatever
don't
the
know what
green
that
one
is.
Okay.
Tiger's eye? No, it's not tiger's eye. Whatever
Oh.
it is, but
Mm.
one of the rocks. So it means money. Oh, that's what
Oh,
it was.
hell yeah.
My tarot was all about money.
Whoa.
I'm gonna get
Well,
a
if
lot of
there's
money this year.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Apparently.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I got all the cups. I think
wow.
I got 12.
Oh, you got
12
some
Look
cups.
at that. I hope you do get money.
Yeah.
I hope I do get money too.
Wow.
Okay, but so yeah, I hadn't told the story to anyone. That's why I'm just trampling my way through it. But eventually it becomes clear that like no one's going to bed soon, no one's leaving soon, and I am so internal at this point because I'm so high that like I'm having conversations with conversations with conversations of myself, versions of versions of versions of myself. I'm so many layers deep. I'm incepting myself at this point.
Right.
I've entered limbo with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right.
But so I decide, I just like stand up out of nowhere, and I'm like, I gotta go, and I drove there, and she was like, you're leaving? And I was like, yeah, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I'm like I can't take it anymore. And she's like, are you okay? Cool. Are you good to drive? And I was like, yeah, I'm good to drive. And then I turned to the door to like step out the door, and I went, oh boy. and she stopped and she turned me around. Oh boy, what do you mean, oh boy? You can't. Are you okay to drive? And I was like, yeah. What was that sigh? I'm just sighing because I was really high.
Yeah.
But I really needed to go home.
Yeah, you're about to country cruise.
I needed to country cruise home. And so I left that third-story attic apartment, took these narrow exterior stairs out, and got in my car on this snowy, 20-degree night. And I drove back, and I did a voice memo because I was like, I need to make sure I'm like awake
activated
and active, and so I like start speaking, but I'm like struggling to breathe a little bit. And so the voice memo goes of like the first minute being like, all right, I started this voice memo too.
Did you
keep
delete
myself
this?
awake? And no, I still have it.
Hell, we must.
And so I'm like, I really shouldn't be driving.
We have to hear this.
Yeah, I'll play it later. And then there's like 20 minutes of silence, and I'm like, oh, I'm still recording. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then I let it keep playing, and then I forget about it again because it's like a 30-minute drive back home for me.
30-minute drive. That's so long.
No.
Yeah, I drive from Denver back to the suburbs.
Holy shit.
And then also I knew the coppers were out on New Year's
Yeah,
Eve.
for sure they're all
So I was
out.
like really trying to be like, what's crazy is you're trying to be careful, but then if you're being careful, you want to make sure you're not like slow.
My dad said quick.
Please cut in.
Quick. My dad said he represented this guy who was caught for drunk driving, and the specifics of the case, he was like, cross-examining the lawyer. He was like, oh, I was just wondering why he was pulled over, because on the ticket he was going the speed limit.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, he was going the speed limit on New Year's. He was drunk. And my dad's like, well, you can't just pull someone over for going the speed limit just because.
Oh.
He's going the speed limit.
Yeah.
You
Did he
pulled him
win?
over for going the speed limit.
Yeah.
That's not reasonable.
That's insane.
And he was like, but he was drunk. He's like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You need to pull someone over for breaking the law.
Who won?
Well, the case got thrown out because like
he had no right
to pull him over. He was like, well, I thought he would be drunk because he was going the speed limit.
I was for certain cruise control.
You were going.
Yeah, I was like keeping it on 65.
Smart.
Which I don't normally do.
Right.
Normally I'm quite the speeder.
Yeah.
Speed machine.
You're Speed McQueen.
This is me, Speed Demon.
Lightning McQueen.
Lightning McQueen. And I learned later at the next day after that party that I was like, oh, how did it wrap up? Did it wrap up soon? Because I was like, it would be kind of a shame if it wrapped up right after I left.
Yeah.
I was just trying to like sleep.
Yeah,
I was just
yeah.
trying to be like, get me somewhere.
You just
where
need
I'm
to get
safe,
out of there.
Like
mentally,
like mentally, like being in an environment where you're not super comfortable for that long of a time is like,
and then that high.
my personal hell.
Yeah, no. That's an anxiety.
The fact that
hell.
you lasted that long, because you got your keys, the fact that you stayed that long, commendable.
Thank you.
I would have keysed and fled.
Really? Would you have?
I would have went keys and fled.
What is that word?
Keys?
Kiss.
Keys?
Kiss.
Oh, keysed. Okay, the person's name is Key. That's why I was so
Oh.
confused.
Oh, I went
Yeah,
keys.
he
Keys.
he
Sorry.
was being confusing.
Sorry.
I've gotten a quick keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I learned that after I left, they all went downstairs and started doing coke. So,
Nice.
Those
so the
are
night was
best.
not ending.
Yeah.
and I left at the appropriate.
It's
You
kind
left
of a
at the
crazy
perfect
party.
time.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, for what? For
Yeah.
we weren't out. It was in just a shitty apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of fun, but it's all people we don't. It's not like we all
That's
know each other.
insane. That's like going hard for like.
It also seemed like
Yeah, but that's what people. That's what people do
go
sometimes.
hard. Yeah.
People who are a little less like
Fucking hardcore.
You know, people who want to live a little bit more dangerously or live a little more freely.
Yeah.
You know, they'll go pretty ham on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a crazy night. I hope I was able to express.
No, it was great.
Some of those feelings. Quick tangent. A side note about a story that I told, because I just told a story that I thought was perhaps overlong. When my roommate had an improv show a couple weeks ago, and they asked me to do the monologue in front before it.
Like an opening, like open mic.
Yeah, like take a suggestion and like tell a story, and then we're gonna take, and then they'll do improv based off of my monologue.
Right.
And the idea is that you get someone really funny, and they tell a really funny story, and then you get all these great ideas. Actually, they did get some good ideas for my monologue, but I told a story, which I told a story about my dad and I. And it ended up being a sad story because that's just like what came to mind. And you're supposed to yes and yourself, you know, in those moments. So I was yes anding myself on this like very sad memory about my dad. And then the whole rest of the night at the party, people were coming up to me and they're like, "Sorry to hear about your dad, man." and I was like, "Oh no, I'm over it." Like it was
I'm just being funny.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, it's just telling the story, for them." And like, yeah, no worries. And then I realized I'm the sad dad guy. The whole rest of the night for that party, I'm the sad dad guy because it was all new people too.
Right.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You
It's
need
kind of a
one.
nice edge.
You need a sad dad guy.
And they did some funny sketches of
Skeet.
based on they skeeted
Yeah.
with the sad dad story.
Huh.
So,
Very fun.
yeah. That was my New Year's thing, Sophia.
That
to
is
answer yours.
juicy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
It was just kind of long and exhausting, I suppose.
yeah.
The weed in Colorado is very strong.
I can imagine.
I bet.
My
Really?
dad wanted to go to Colorado. That dirty dog.
To get weed,
Who's to say?
he either wanted to ski or get high.
Yeah.
That dog.
We freaking.
I could see your dad living in Colorado, honestly, more than Hawaii.
Yeah. Me too.
But it's a good
But
thing that
here
he
we
ended
are.
up in Hawaii.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be fucking dead.
I saw a graphic that was like, it showed all the states that had a smaller population than LA County. So it showed like LA County on the map and how small it is. Then it highlighted all the other states that have a smaller population, and it's like 47 states.
That makes sense.
It's like most of America has less of a population.
Yeah. I mean,
than
if
LA
you
County.
especially go to like honestly
most states.
everything outside of like honestly California and New York, if you
Yeah.
go to like the middle states, they're so fucking small.
It was like California,
of
Texas,
population.
and New York were like the only ones with more than LA.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
Michigan was smaller than LA. All of Michigan.
Right. No, totally.
Oh, I think Illinois was more too
It was funny in like
because they have Chicago.
it was
but-
funny in like all of these, not to like talk about COVID very briefly, but like when people were talking about like COVID numbers and people be like, oh, like South Dakota only has like 100 cases,
Oh yeah.
and it's like 200 people live there. That's half, dude. That's half.
That's a big chunk.
And everyone lives like 20 miles apart. Like,
Yeah.
how?
Yeah. The
But
rural
yeah, you don't
folks
think about.
hated masks. My
Oh,
rural
totally,
family.
dude.
Like, this is bull crap.
My
bullshit.
city family.
Yeah.
Half-
They were
half of my
anti-masking.
city family.
Yeah.
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 They
There's
they
folks
weren't
out there, dude.
anti-masking, but they didn't pro-mask. Let's just say that.
My dad was pissed. My dad was pissed.
He was mad about it. He's
Yeah,
like,
he-
fuck this. I remember in like high school we'd wear them, but like there are a lot of Asians, and that's like kind of a thing. That was a thing prior.
Oh,
So we'd
yeah,
hit the
yeah.
mask.
Yeah.
Hit
Actually,
the
you know
mask
what?
up.
I think what pissed my dad off the most was not the it was the masking, but he's one of these kinds of guys where like he cares a lot about the economy. And he was like businesses are closed.
Yeah, my dad was
because
like
of-
that too.
Yeah.
That's a nice. That's
And
yeah.
and he, he closed a business during it,
Right.
so I guess he felt personally,
Actually, I think
shut down
we
by
did
it.
as-
So
Right.
Yeah. San Francisco suffered a lot from COVID. A lot of businesses closed.
yeah,
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Shit do be crazy.
it was crazy. Do we want to talk about May, December,
Oh shit. Yeah, we can weave it in there. Let's
Yeah.
do quick.
or we can wrap it?
Let's do quick on May, December, and then we'll wrap. Okay.
So I hear you hate May, December.
Okay. Okay. So
Wait,
we
from
watched.
who?
Aaron.
You told him I hate it?
No. I didn't say. I didn't say you. I simply said in the group chat. What the? I just saw May, December. What the fuck? I think that's what I said, and then you
said, "Is the bar
extrapolated.
really this low?"
Oh, okay, maybe I did say that.
And
Is
I-
this the
and I-
bar?
And
Is
I
this the
said,
bar?
and I said,
I didn't know
yes.
you
just liked
Technically,
it
the
that
bar is that
much.
low.
Or
If it's
I didn't know you disliked it that
no,
much.
no. It wasn't even that. I like.
that, I got the impression you hated it. You can tell me you didn't.
Okay,
did.
okay. So, okay, here's the thing. I understand that it set out what it wanted to do, and that again, like, I thought like the script was good in terms of like just the writing was strong,
Mm-hmm.
but I was just like, why? Why was this made?
Wait, what did you think about it?
Me? So I knew about Mary Kay Letourneau.
Yeah.
And I had got really
You
interested.
had already known about it.
Yes. So I
From
got.
what? Just the news?
It's like a known story. Like it was a big scandal in the 90s.
They taught it in my psych class.
Oh really?
Really?
Oh yeah. We don't need to get into that one.
Well, my psych teacher was also.
Aaron's psych
Oh.
teacher taught about Mary Kay Letourneau and then slept with a student.
How old was your teacher?
Was
she
it
was
sleep-
like
sleeping
in her
with or
20s,
dating?
Sleeping,
It was sleeping.
but they were seeing each other frequently. So like kind of dating, but yeah, she's
that's
just married
insane.
too.
What did she say about
She has a
Mary Kay
baby.
Letourneau?
She was just talking about it, like very legit. Yeah, dude, the fucking
She's like-
cognitive dissonance, which I learned in her class. Yeah.
So she was
talked about
teaching it as a bad thing.
Yeah, she was like, yeah,
Like,
this is like
was
a crazy
abuse.
thing that happened. This was like a popular case, and they even broke her down as like likely having some sort of, they mentioned in the movie, but some kind of personality disorder.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, she probably has. Well, I found that really interesting in the movie. I don't know if this is true about the real Mary Kay Letourneau, but in May December, there's speculation that she was abused as a kid.
Yeah, I
Right.
was trying to
And
look
then-
into that.
And then they twist it, and she's like, "I was never abused," and you don't know what to believe. And I thought that was actually really interesting. I thought the movie. So when I first watched it, I was so stuck on the real story
Me
that
too.
I couldn't get past it,
Yeah.
and I
Me
couldn't.
too.
I couldn't stop thinking about if this was trying to be a straight up Mary Kay Letourneau story, or like if this is a biopic with different names, because it almost is, or if this is its
Yeah.
own thing.
It's weird.
And then it really by the end of the movie has gone in a fairly different direction
Mm-hmm.
than just a straight up biopic. So and I really hated the music choice. What
Yeah.
they did was they chose this song from this like 90s TV movie
Ooh,
Um,
that's creepy.
because in the movie in May December they're making like a 90s TV movie.
Right.
That makes sense.
So they have this
It
like
does kind of. It looks like a 90. I felt like I was watching a Hallmark.
oh
like,
really?
Like a Lifetime original or
Yeah,
something.
the house felt really weird.
Yeah.
In a way that only like sets can feel weird.
Yeah.
Sets and maybe some real homes. But then I was confused on what it was trying to say, other than Joe's story, who's the the kid who marries the teacher,
Right.
and then 30 years later in May December is the story of May December is that 30 years later, an actress is going to play the role of this teacher, and they had this illicit affair, and so I couldn't get past the true life story, and I couldn't get past the music, and I couldn't get past what it was trying to say at all. But it actually really grew on me because I knew what it was trying to say about Joe, the kid, and that he was taken advantage of as a child,
Right.
didn't know it at the time, and is only learning that he was taken advantage of now.
Yeah.
Now that he's like 35.
And his
And
whole
he's-
life was taken from him.
And he's smoking weed on the roof with his son.
That
and,
scene was so sad.
and he never got to do that as a
Right.
kid because he was immediately a father
Right.
at that age, and was at the
12.
center of this crazy scandal, and his son's like 15, 16, experiencing normal, 15, 16-year-old things, and he never got that.
Yeah.
And so it was really weird how Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore are both manipulating him.
Yeah.
And I really could not figure out Natalie Portman.
I did not like that character.
Yeah.
I did not like that character.
But it grew on me because I feel like it's really weird and really kind
It
of
is
complicated.
very weird.
It's about performance.
It
And they're performing
is.
for her when she first arrives. They want to perform a happy family, but their kids won't even show up to dinner.
And I guess it is a commentary on like the sensationalism of their story and like how the media just was really obsessed with it in a way that kind of minimized the abuse, I think.
Yeah. And why are we still interested?
Yeah.
Like, the movie's a little too self-aware maybe about
Yeah.
we're telling a story about a sensationalist thing that actually really affected people's lives.
Well, I felt that way, and then I read how he felt about it, the real guy, and it made me really sad.
He really didn't like the movie.
Because first of all, I watched the interview that a lot of the lines were taken from.
Yeah, well, because I had already seen that interview,
Oh
and I
my
knew from
God.
the get, I was like, oh, I know exactly what interview this screenwriter was inspired by.
But it
Interesting.
was
Yeah.
interesting because in the interview, and I don't want to like make assumptions, but it seemed like he had already come to the point where he had acknowledged that he was abused.
Yeah, at that point he knows.
He did
the
not.
real guy. I feel
Yeah,
like.
he didn't. They weren't in love. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously they were
I
never
mean, they
in love.
they
but
asked the question,
they asked the question, "Are you in love?" And
And he
they
can't
don't
say it.
They
He
don't
he can't
say it.
say it. So I think he's at the point he had already like admitted in the interview that he had like researched pedophilia because he thought that this happened to him.
Mhm.
He says that he like can't imagine himself or anyone normal falling for a 13-year-old, obviously.
Yeah.
So he's like very closed off in the interview, and it's really sad because she's just like completely crazy, like cutting him off, like gaslighting him, like trying to compare it to the fact that they were equals in a way, like so crazy.
I mean, she even like sets it up as if like she was pursued by him. Like she presents
she kept
the
saying
framework
that. Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
I think she came in to the interview thinking like, oh, we could spin this off as like a modern day like love, as like a weird fucked up like
but it
love
was
story.
I think it was weird like watching the interview and then
knowing how he felt about it and then their
seeing
portrayal
how
of
he felt about it, and then he almost seemed too naive in the movie.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
Like he seemed
he-
too in love with her.
He discovers it in the movie, whereas in the true life story, you get the sense that they're separated, and she's lying that they're still together. I feel like in the
Yeah.
interview, I feel like she does not hang out with the kids, and the kids are kind of weirded out by her. Like she's
Right.
a strange aunt or something.
Yeah.
And I also feel like he was clearly very young and manipulated, and I don't think like the sensationalism around it was like, you stayed together this long, that's why this is such a rare occurrence that there's like an abuse like this and you're married and you're
Right.
together with kids. But I think that he would have processed it or gotten help if he hadn't had to have kids with her.
Yeah.
Like he was clearly loved his kids, and like I think that was more of the reason why he's, from what I gathered from the interview.
Well, there's the whole part where she was in prison for, I think, 5 years.
Yeah.
And the people who were raising the children were his parents. So they're the children's grandparents.
Yeah.
So I really got the sense in the true life story, and this is just my feelings based on what my inferences, or that they kind of see their grandparents as the closest figures. They see their dad as a father, but kind of this interesting, they know he kind of has a weird story. And then, it really feels like she's a strange aunt.
Right.
Like, it feels like they don't have dinners. They don't.
Did you see an interview with them and her?
Together?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a 60 minutes where they have a conversation and are answering interview questions together. Oh, not the grandparents.
No. The kids and the main woman.
They're doing like the picnic table thing. That's where I felt like they were inspired for like the hot dogs.
Yes.
Where it's like, we need more hot dogs, and they're already like 30 hot dogs on the
Yeah.
I felt like the script was super strong. I thought the performances were super strong.
Yeah.
But it was also just kind of strange, and I don't know if I like that director.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it went a little too maybe it complicated itself maybe a little too much thematically without giving people firm things to grasp onto.
I think that they shouldn't, if they were going to have Natalie Portman.
Like Natalie Portman.
That was just such a
her
strange
character,
element.
I don't think they should have used the real people's names, because the way that he talked about it was so heartbreaking when he was like, I really love movies and I really love well-told stories, and this just completely glossed over my story, and it was just a simplified version of my complicated life. And I would have wanted...
The real guy said this.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would have wanted to talk to the writer about... I would have totally cooperated on the story. So in my mind, the writer is saying this isn't a true portrayal of these people.
But we're all thinking about it.
But you can't...
That's all I have in my head.
You can't use their names and then...
Or just
it wasn't
use
their names.
Or
yeah, it was, right?
No, there were different names.
There were different
but it was
names.
the same story.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it
her
quite
name's May, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
Mary
Rhonda
is
or
the real
something.
name.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's quite
basically-
literally, obviously.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's
I guess that makes a little more sense.
but it's unmistakably them in terms of the way they looked, in terms of the way that they performed. I mean, they clearly copied mannerisms. It's unapologetically.
Oh, yeah. Julianne Moore is straight up.
she was
straight up
so
copying.
good.
Yeah.
She was so
And in
Doing all
terms
good.
of
these
reflecting, they
affects,
picked someone, they reflected it in casting, right? So I mean, it's unapologetically they're going for that. I mean, maybe there was a legality thing where they
Yeah.
didn't want to use names, or maybe it was a point of whatever. But in terms of the way that they portrayed the family or whatever, it's
But I think the movie is also so much about how is it okay for us to be telling this sensational story about real
Right.
people.
and the thing that
So it's hung up on it too.
Yeah.
Maybe in a way that's kind of annoying, where maybe it's self-aware, and saying, "Are we allowed to do this?" But they're still doing it. Maybe that's kind of grating. But I actually think it presents a pretty complicated story about performance and how we adapt real life to
That makes sense.
a movie, because in May December it's all about her adapting Mary Kay Letourneau's life, her adapting May December's life into the TV movie, and how what was I maybe kind of appreciated by the end. I realized Natalie Portman's just insane. She's just a nuts actor.
Right. You're trying to figure out and
Yeah.
decipher this character, and part of that I got a little annoyed by. I was hoping that there would be more substance in terms of.
Yeah, but by the end I think she's actually
But
psychotic.
she's just an insane
because
person.
the things she's doing to
From the beginning
to
are
Joe,
insane.
the character Joe.
Yeah.
I think it also
seducing him just
made May's character seem less insane.
Yes,
And I think that upset me because
And more powerful.
It just made her the star and the protagonist in a way, and almost made you feel sorry for her or look at her in a more positive way than I think she should have been portrayed.
Yeah.
Because in the end, I think he should have been the protagonist.
I kind of felt like, I agree. I feel like his story was the only one that you even can parse by the end.
Yeah,
and I think it is his story by the end. I think at the it's like he has a big revelation at the football field at graduation or
that's
something.
true.
Like, I think by the end we realize it is Joe's story, and it can be really frustrating to have all this extra kind of weird manipulations going on. I think Natalie Portman just adds so many weird elements. That character adds so many weird elements.
Yeah, so bizarre.
Yeah.
Like the monologue is so interesting and bizarre.
Oh, that was scary.
Um,
I mean, I thought
it was cool.
It was
actually.
it was very
scary.
eerie. It was
It's
very eerie. I felt so sad the whole movie. Like there was no.
But a part of me felt sad, not because of entirely what the movie was doing, but because I was thinking about the greater life implications of, being connected either by a part of the family, perhaps just like wanting to move on from the situation, like having your whole life essentially sensationalized by the media, and now like everyone for a moment, maybe not for the longevity, but is now like talking about it again. Like from when we watched the interviews, what I got is the guy, he just wants to fucking move on. You know, like he wants this to be over. The relationship is over. He just wants to move on.
Yeah.
So part of me was like, oh, it seems kind of shitty, almost because I feel like he doesn't want this to happen. And like, he's legitimately the only one who any of us, like, who you can legitimately feel sorry for at the end of the day. So I felt myself being hung up on that aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we read that he wasn't a fan of the movie, I was like, oh damn, that sucks. And like, I think maybe I'm going through.
It's about as good a movie as you can, if they're gonna make a movie though about your life. I mean, something this kind of artsy and complicated, I feel
think,
like is
though,
about as
that
good as you can get.
I don't think that his character was.
I do
think it
think
was
they
too
kind
simple.
of simplified.
His
They almost
character.
made him like a
They almost made
bumbling
him
victim,
a little
and
like.
a fool.
They almost made him
dumb.
kind of a fool.
Yeah,
Like, and maybe it was
I see that.
they sort of made him like, huh? Like
Yeah,
almost kind of a moron.
yeah,
But I also think they could have like centered him more in the story maybe and
Mhm.
given him more to work with.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like they gave most of the material to Natalie Portman.
yeah. And we think it's maybe her story, and it's just her story's so confusing.
And it's her story,
and
it's
wild,
makes
dude.
no sense.
It's fucking wild when
makes
she
no
masturbates
sense.
in the.
Yeah, in the reptile
Yeah.
store. That is a
Yeah.
funny change.
That's crazy.
That they first,
To the piano.
Well, it's weird
yeah.
because she is very similar to the other character.
Right.
Well, she starts taking on the attributes. She starts
Yes.
like doing the Can I see you do your makeup? And
Yeah.
then she starts like talking like
Oh,
her.
Right.
yeah,
It's, like, so weird.
creepy.
So weird.
But it's cool. I don't know. I think that's really clever. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
think actors really do that, but
No, but
Not at
hey,
all.
maybe we'll start. Maybe that's the intro to this.
it's also very funny sometimes. It's very funny in its sadness. When she's looking for a sexy 12-year-old.
Yeah.
She's disturbed,
sexier.
but also she's like,
It's got to be
this-
sexy.
Joe has this kind of. None of these kids work. Joe has this kind of sexy, and she maybe stops herself. Or,
Right.
Yeah, it's like.
She was insane.
Insane.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty interesting. I think good conversations come out of it too.
Yeah, definitely good conversations. I still don't think I liked it very much.
I think this. I
The
think
thinking is the reason
but
I like
there's
it.
but there's thinking, and there are a lot
there's
of things.
thinking, but I found myself just instead of thinking of the side of Natalie Portman's character, I just wanted to know what the true story was.
That's fair.
And I don't
Yeah.
know if that's really thought provoking.
Yeah.
But what I did feel is I thought the acting was
Yes.
good. I thought this writing itself was good,
Yeah.
but I didn't feel that this was a story that really had to be told.
Right.
Yeah.
And I
feel.
didn't know if it had to be told in that way.
Yeah, I get you, girl.
I don't know. I feel like it's a really unique perspective that people aren't usually exposed to. I think the true life, that interview with that guy, with the true life Joe, I can't remember his real name, is a crazy perspective. It gives you so much sympathy. It makes you feel so bad. It makes you think, wow, like this guy got handed a really hard ticket. He was a dad at 13 to a woman who's 35 and just left her kids for you or something like that. And so ultimately I would say, if you could show everyone that interview or whatever, maybe that would be the best way for everyone to have empathy.
Yeah.
But I feel like telling the story is another way to share that perspective, because it's a really complicated, interesting perspective, and it does happen in the real world. I mean, Aaron grew up with one. I grew up with one in my community.
That's crazy. I've never.
A lot of people will start dating their teacher like right after they graduate.
Yeah.
I've heard that a couple times. Like it happens a lot.
Yeah,
apparently.
that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth discussion. I think I'm still in the phase of...
Yeah, you are right that it's like a common thing that happens. I feel like
and it's worth telling stories about it.
I think it's worth telling stories about. I think, and again, like, I just always question the ambiguity of perspective.
Go ahead.
And especially with something like that, I think I'm still in the moment where I'm figuring out how to feel about it. I just have that initial reaction of pushback.
Yeah.
You know? That's
you might be where I was after I first watched it.
That's totally
and then
possible.
I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of am an advocate now, because I really I thought about the movie a lot.
So the thing is, and I was wondering if I'd feel that way, and perhaps I will in the future. Like when I felt maybe similarly after I finished watching The Curse. After like Uncut Gems, I felt that way.
I felt that way after The Curse.
I kind of have forgotten about it a little.
Oh, sure.
But
yeah, I agree. It's not like I don't think it's the best movie ever. I wasn't thrilled when I first saw it, but I think the story
we're talking
is
about
so
it.
interesting.
It's a really interesting
and
story.
it's interesting when people do or don't like it.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's worth discussion.
Definitely worth discussion.
And it just definitely like makes you feel something when you watch the movie.
Oh, I felt something.
Like I felt like so
fucking hard as a rock.
Aaron.
Sorry.
That wasn't a funny joke.
That wasn't a funny joke.
Sorry.
Aaron.
It'll get bleeped.
No, you're not gonna bleep it.
Cut it.
It's getting
cut it all.
It's getting cut. I hear you.
The movie made me really
It's
sad.
fair, you guys.
But like in a way that's sad, like the way that I felt when I watched this is a really bad comparison, but
Schindler's List.
what's the one where the guy's stuck on the boat and he kills
Life of Pi.
Captain
Life of Pi.
Phillips.
I felt that way when I watched Life of Pi. Just like a dull sadness that doesn't feel anything else. Like there's no other.
I feel Life of Pi is pretty hopeful though. Fucking is the tiger, you know?
You know, I watched it when I was young and I didn't feel hopeful about it.
I didn't see it.
So I need to see it again as an adult.
Fucking mom dies, but
And then he eats her, right?
no, the tiger eats her, but he's himself, so I guess he does eat his mom.
Yeah, he eats his mom.
But hey.
So.
But like I mean, it's just like him overcoming himself and being like, I'm gonna be this. I'm forced to be this person that I am. You're gonna hear me roar, and he does.
Anyway, I don't know. I haven't seen Life of Pi since I was really little, and I just know that it made me feel sad and dull the way that this movie made me feel.
That's fair.
If May December comes with a recommendation from me, I can say, do not see, to your audience, do not see Miller's Girl, which covers a similar topic.
Oh, right,
That's true.
And is really, really bad.
Yeah, Miller's
that's
Girl
bad.
is like really bad.
Did you watch it?
Yes.
You saw it?
Yes.
You saw it?
When?
Wait, that's
you
the
didn't.
Sudeikis movie.
No.
No.
Miller's Girl is a new release.
It's the one with Jenna Ortega.
Oh.
Jenna Ortega dates Martin Freeman.
That's
and it's her
crazy.
fault. And they have a romance.
Holy shit. What is with okay, so my only thing is like can we just press pause on the kid fucking stuff?
Yeah. I feel like Miller's Girl is really bad and kind of exploitative of that
It looked.
kind
I
of
saw the
story.
trailer. It looked like that. Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
And it tries to be self-aware. It's like, it's about romance stories, but it's not. It's just really bad.
I remember my dad telling me, like, my mom coming to his office for the first time and he had a Lolita poster on the wall.
Who did?
My dad.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, you have to take that down.
He's like, no matter what you feel about this book, it needs to come
like,
down.
You need to take this down now.
He's like, no, but Humbert is such a cool dude.
And he was like, no,
He's like,
but
I
it stands for, like, free speech.
Oh, what?
Because the book was banned in a lot
Oh,
of countries. So it was more
okay.
about, like, that. But I'm like, no one would think that. You just
No.
see Lolita on your wall, you fucking freak. Anyway.
Well, isn't the movie famous for, like, sexualizing the girl?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
That was
movie.
Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. Weird guy.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, Stanley.
Boy, oh boy, Stanley. Oh, the camera's about to die. And we've been going for an hour 45. So
An hour 45 unless you cut
true.
everything.
Everything.
All the tea.
But
this
this
was
was lovely.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, Pete.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
This was a
Thank you
super
for
great
being here.
conversation.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
lovely. Go see the Millers.
No.
Oh, don't see the Millers.
See, we're the Millers.
See Life of Pi. And Captain Phillips. Have a blessed day.
Be careful from
Peace.
bitches.